Hi there. So I thought I'd talk about texture in paintings today and how you can improve your ordinary paintings and make them into something a little bit special. So I've taken a small canvas here and put some texture on it already, and I just use the Ordinary Decorators filler, and I just make some use a palette knife and make a few random marks onto the canvas. And I've already done it and it's really rock hard, but I'm just demonstrating, I'm just adding a little bit more. And this is what I do when it's getting a little bit difficult to get out. To just cut it. And I do the same thing with paint as well. I don't waste anything. And then I just put a little clip on it to keep it nice and soft. So that's the first canvas that I did, and I'm going to do another one as well. So I want the texture paste to be really rock hard. So I've done these in advance, these two, and I'll just use them in the future so that they're ready for me. And then when I paint on them, they won't, the texture paste won't dissolve, because if you don't do it beforehand and let it thoroughly dry, you'll find that it starts to dissolve with the acrylic paint that you're putting on it. Okay, so I thought I would show you a few examples of texture in your paintings. Now this is, let me see if I can show you close up. This is an example of very light texture, but look how it's made a difference to that. Now if you get some texture where you don't want it like that there, you can just sand it off lightly, very lightly, with some sandpaper. Right, so that is a nice beach that is very light in texture, but it's still there and it still makes a difference. Look, you can't get that effect without the texture. Put that there. Another one, very simple seascape with a heavier texture, slightly heavier texture. It look like rocks and things on the beach, doesn't it? You can have fun with it as well. Did I show you this one? Here is another example. I like the texture on this. It's not everywhere, look. Let's see, I can't see if I'm showing it to you properly. It's not everywhere, but it's nice. It's nice texture. And when I paint it, the paint goes, you know, the paint goes on it, and then you put a little bit of lighter colour over the top, and it looks as if it's sinking, you know, it's sinking in. That's that one. Very simple little seascape there. Now this is another one, a bit more dramatic. This is, let me see if it's on the camera. Yeah, it is. Right, that's a fairly heavy texture. It's not too heavy on the beach there, but it's, you know, it's a nice texture. I'll move it around to see if it shows up on the camera. And another thing you can do is you can splat the texture paste onto it. It looks like I've done that there, look. In that area, you can splat the texture on. Here's a light texture again. That is very light, that texture. Very light there. This painting needs, it needs to be gone over with something. It needs something anyway. Here's one that, there's one that I haven't painted the foreground. Now that's another thing. I often leave the texture for several days, paint the rest of the painting like I've done here, and leave that texture. And then I'm going to fill that in with browns and let me see, what will I use? Burnt sienna, raw sienna, yellow ochre, some cream in there, just to sort of, so you can hear the texture, just to make it look like some jagged rocks in the foreground. What else? Here's another one. That's a nice texture. You just can't get that look without using texture paste. Now I use what I showed you, the decorators, paste, you know, a filler, and it's not the outdoor. Don't use the outdoor one, because that's got like a plastic look to it, and it will repel, you know, the paint, or resist, I should say. It'll resist the paint, so don't use that. You want the decorator's cork or decorator's filler, and it will leave your painting, it will be sort of dry. You know what I'm talking about. Here's another one. This is a nice, gorgeous texture. Simple painting. Love this texture. It's probably my favourite. It sort of looks like you've got a bit of a landscape. You've combined, or I've combined, the landscape. Let me get a pointer, don't I? You've combined the landscape with a beach and a seascape. You've got the best of both worlds in that one. I like that one. Here's one that's not finished. It's half finished. Again, really nice texture. I love that texture. Have a look. Yeah, there you go. So, I'm hoping that you'll have a go. Now, this is a landscape, and this is just a really, really super light texture. What I do with that is I scratch into it to make it look like grasses and things. Into that really super light. And don't forget, when you put your texture on, if you want to do a landscape like that, when you put your texture on, don't go like that, level all the way across. Am I showing it right? Yeah. Don't put the texture on like this, level. Put it on random, like this, so that you've got jagged. You want it jagged. You don't want it straight across. It'll look wrong. You know, you want it jagged, like that. It looks good, doesn't it, in a landscape? Looks good in both. You've got with a seascape, you've got what look like, let's have a look, what look like rocks. Let's see, like that one. Looks like rocks and things on the beach. And with a landscape, you've got what looks like plants and grasses and what have you. So you can use it in both. You can also use it in skies, especially if you're doing an abstract painting. You can, let me see if I can find an example. So this is a abstract seascape, very colourful, and I've used some texture in the sky. A light texture, but a texture. And I put texture in the foreground, so you've got texture in both of those. Here's another example of a very light texture. Very light. This is a very simple, almost semi-abstract seascape. And we've got, let's get rid of that. And here we have another example. This is great, this texture, for creating water lilies and flowers. Absolutely brilliant. And leaves. You know, if you're doing flowers, it's great for doing leaves. And this is obviously a very, very heavy texture on that one. Another example of a very light texture, very light, in the foreground of these two little simple seascapes. Very light texture. And of course you can use texture to do some cliffs. You could not put it on the beach, or put a light texture on the beach, and then you could do your cliffs in a texture. I didn't do it here, but you can do. And you can put some nice texture into the sky. So I hope you'll have fun with your texture. And I enjoyed talking to you, and I enjoyed, this little tutorial on texture. And I'll see you next time. Meanwhile, sending you lots of love from Cornwall.